Good morning, dear students and friends. Welcome back to the Prithviraj English Academy. As our social study series going on for Karnataka State Board, it is in this video we are going to discussing about 9 standards. Part number 1, it's political science. Chapter number 5, our constitution. Already we have completed 2 videos related to this chapter. This is the third and last video of this chapter. In this video, we are going to discuss about our constitution. In that major parts we are going to learn from this video is related to the our constitution, the fundamental rights, the fundamental duties and directive principles of state policy we are going to study. So let's start one by one about fundamental rights, duties and directive principles of state policy. First is fundamental rights. So about the fundamental rights means what it means. Fundamental right, about that we will come to know. Then what are the importance of fundamental rights we will come to know now. Okay, fundamental rights provide the social and political atmosphere necessary for the development of the personality of the citizens. It is going to provide the social and political atmosphere, and that will going to necessary for the development of the personality of the all the citizens, and they are required for the person to lead a civilized life in society. Means fundamental rights are the requirement for the person to lead the civilized life in the society. They are also essential for the success of democracy. Means these fundamental rights also very essential for the success of democracy. Now come to the about exactly about the fundamental rights. In the fundamental rights we have the 7 fundamental rights mentioned in the part of third of our constitution when it was adopted. That time we have the 7 fundamental rights. However, means now according to the 44th amendments, here it is 44th amendment. Here it is 44th amendment here. Through this one, this act we have made means 44th amendment act. Amendment means we have made a changes in a part third in a year of 1978, and we have removed the right to property. Now we have removed, abolished now, and they are now right now we have the 6 fundamental rights. Okay, those are like that here. Okay, right to equality means about the fundamental rights. We will come to know about the fundamental rights from article 12 to 35. 12 to 35. Okay, now come to the right to equality from 14 to 18. Right to freedom from article 19 to 22. Right against exploitation article 23 to 24. Okay, then come to the right to fundamental of religion article 25 to 28. Cultural right to cultural and educational rights article 29 to 30, and right to constitutional remedies article 32. Okay, now let us come to know about one by one. Okay, so here it will going to start means by the 12 I said, right. 12 article will going to speak about the state and what are the states has a rights to frame about the legislature and the local government. It will going to speak, and 13 also going to speak about the fundamental rights only. Okay, now come to the article that is called the 14 to 18, that is right to equality. Okay, article 14 to 18 we have. This right is very essential for the success of the democracy, and under this right we are going to provide the equally socially and economical before the law. Means under this all the citizens are equal socially and economically before the law, we will come to know. So in particularly articles, if I am going to talk about particular, then article 14 will going to tells us about the all are equal before the law and nobody is above the law. It will going to speak about the by the article 14. Okay, then all should get equal protection from the law, and none should be discriminated against on the basis of their caste, religion, gender or place of birth. according to the article 15. Now move to the no citizen should be subjected to any restrictions with regard to the access to shops, restaurants, hotels, places of public entertainment and public places of worship. This right also has enabled every citizen to get an equal opportunity to join the government services according to the article 16. Under this right, untouchability is opens according to the, which is very important, article 17. Abolition of the titles, that is speak about the by the 18th article. Okay, so abolition of titles means those are going to be given by the outsiders, means like other countries. Yeah, before the independent we got by the Britishers, those titles should be abolished. Like, and before that, our native kings or rulers had the titles like Nawab. Those all have cancelled now. Okay. Now move to the. Do you know this means? In 1895, the Indian National Congress urged the implementation of the rights of citizen. In 1895, Bal Gangadhar Tilak had demanded rights for the people in his Swaraj Bill. In 1925, Dr. Annie Besant declared in Commonwealth of India Bill that individual freedom, freedom of conscience, freedom of speech and equality before the law are very important according to 1925. The cabinet mission of the 1946 supported the fundamental rights. At present, right to property is civil right under the article of 300A. You have to remember this one. Okay, before 7 rights are there, now we have removed according to the amendment of 44 in the year of 1978. Okay, now we have added it in as a civil rights according to the article 300A. Here it is. Okay, please go through it. Now move to the second one, right to freedom, 19 to 22. It is one of the important right. We know that under this one, no, who express his own opinion, to conduct meetings without arms, to establish organization, to live anywhere in the India and follow any profession and move around the country according to the article 19th. They can. Okay, and it is defensive right also, and no one can be arrested without proper reason according to the article 22. No state law can be snatched the life and freedom of a citizen according to 21. All citizens are accorded constitutional protection against any kind of exploitation according to the 20. Okay, little bit jumbled, please arrange it in a proper way by yourself while making a note. Okay, then third one, right against exploitation, 23 to 24. All the citizens are accorded constitutional protection against any kind of exploitation. The aim of this right is to prevent exploitation of women, children, the poor and the weak according to the article 23. Then employment of children under 14 years of age in a mining industries and other dangerous occupations is punishable under law. Okay, it is according to the article 24. Now move to the this one. Do you know this means? The central government has implemented many laws to preventing exploitation, means to abolish the exploitation. Those are Minimum Wages Act of 1948, Immoral Prevention Act of 1956, Dowry Prohibition Act of 1961, Abolition of Bonded Labor Act 1976, Sati Prevention Act 1987, Protection of the Human Rights Act 1993, Domestic Violence Women Protection Act 2005, etc. Means still. Okay, now come to the fourth one, right to freedom of religion according to the article 25 to 28. You know that India is going to consider as a secular country. We are going to consider India is the secular country. Secular means what? No religion has been given the status of the national religion, means all the religions are equal here. Citizen can accept any religion that their conscience dictates, practice it and propagate it by according to the article 25. free to manage religious affairs according to Article 26. No one can be forced to pay taxes for the management of religious institutions according Article 27. Use of the religious places for political and other activities has been be prohibited in the country according to the Article 28. Now move to the fifth one, cultural and educational rights, 29 to 30 article. Yeah, this right will going to provide it. All the citizens of the country have their own languages and script and cultures. It is the duty of the state. State means here central and state government both. Okay, to protect them. Okay, this right protects the interests of the religious and linguistic minorities. Means those are according to the language. Those are means we are going to call it as a minorities. Those are according to the Article 29. It will going to say that you can protect the interest of the religious and the linguistic minorities both. Okay, no one can be denied admission in the government aided institution or institution run by the minorities. All the religions and the linguistic minorities have the right to establish their own educational institutions according to the Article 30. Okay, now move to the you should be know this. Through the 86th amendment, the constitution in a year of 2002, elementary education means from first standard till 8th minimum. Okay, it was made as the fundamental right. Okay, education under the Article 21A. Under this right, the state should provide free and compulsory education for all the children aged between 6 to 14 years. The Indian government has also brought into the force of the Right to Education Act (RTE). Okay, right of the children to force and compulsory education act 2009 in a 2009. Okay, now move to the last one, right to constitutional remedies according to the Article 32. The constitution has not only given the fundamental rights to the citizen of India but also guaranteed them under the Article 32. Okay, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the father of the Indian constitution, was going to call it as the right, the which one, the right to the constitutional remedy, is going to call it as a the heart and the soul of the constitution. Please remember this one, the quotation by the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. There is a possibility to ask you a question for 1 mark. Okay, whenever the rights are violated either by the person, by the state government or the central government, the citizens may appeal directly to the Supreme Court for their protection, and they can file the case also in a high courts also. Okay, the Supreme Court is empowered the fundamental rights, hence it is called the protector of the fundamental rights. This court can be accept the following writ petitions for the protection of citizens' rights. For here we have the 5. Okay, habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, certiorari, certiorari, co-warrant. These are the 5 writs. Okay, one by one we will come to know about them. First is habeas corpus. Habeas corpus means what? Whenever the person maybe have been arrested without a reason, he or anyone else can be filed this petition on behalf asking for his release. If you have filed the petition of the habeas corpus, then the arrested person has to be produced before the court within 24 hours, and this writ petition does not apply for the criminal cases, only for the civil cases it will go into. Okay, then now move to the second one, the mandamus. When the official to refuse to exercise his work a power, discharge his duty, or when subordinate court sometimes do refuse to discharge his duties, then the Supreme Court or the High Court can issue the direction to the concerned asking them to carry out their responsibilities. Means officers, if they are going to refuse, maybe the subordinate courts, they may be refused to perform their duty. That time Supreme Court or the High Court can be means through the mandamus they can direct them, they can consent to asking them to carry out their responsibility, they can guide them, they can even order them to perform their duties. Now come to the provision. This is a proprietary order issued in the written form by the Supreme Court, preventing a subordinate court from trying a case or issue judgment in case beyond the limits. Means it will going to means given by the Supreme Court to the subordinate court. If suppose they may not be give as suppose they have given the judgment beyond their limits. Okay, now come to the fourth one, certiorari. This is order issued by the Supreme Court to lower courts, asking them to transfer their cases. Means it will going to means this will also by the Supreme Court only. It will going to order to the lower courts to transfer their cases to the higher courts whenever they try the cases beyond the limits of the authority. The Supreme Court also analyzes the judgment given by those courts in the such cases. Okay. Now come to the quo warranto. A quo warranto is issued by the Supreme Court, a High Court. It order to integrate in court the person who has occupied government post without having the requirement qualifications. If suppose any person maybe had the any government jobs without having the qualifications, at that time Supreme Court is going to issue the quo warrant. Okay. Then now come to the public interest litigations. Public interest litigations, in short we are going to call it a PIL, can be filed in a courts in order to protect the civil rights denied to the citizens and to protect the public interest. Public interest litigations can be filed for the purpose of protecting legal rights. Rights are essential to protect life and to the protect environment from the being polluted. These public interest legislation can be filed by individuals and social institutions, and these are going to only file in the Supreme Court and High Courts of India. Only the Supreme Courts and High Courts, not in a subordinate courts, means in a district level and taluka level courts. In recent years, nowadays, the courts by itself, they are filing such public interest litigations based on the information published through the media. Okay. Now come to the fundamental duties. We know that as we have the fundamental rights, like that we have the fundamental duties also. Okay. And rights without duties have no values and significance. In a part 4A through the amendment 42, okay, Amendment Act in the year of 1976, we have the 10 duties. Yeah, the Constitution we have added the 10 fundamental duties when in the year of 1976 according to the Amendment 42. But in the year of 2002 through the 86 Amendment Act, Constitution now we have the 11th fundamental duties, means one more we have added in the year of 2002 according to the 86th amendment. So without delay, let's start about the one by one about the fundamental right. Let's know. Means first one is to respect the Constitution, national flag and national anthem, to follow the noble ideals that inspired our national struggle for the freedom, to protect the integrity of India, to defend the motherland whenever called. Maybe we got the call, we have the chance to protect our motherland, to promote the spirit of the common brotherhood among all the citizens, means we are all the brothers and sisters, to preserve our rich heritage, okay, to protect and improve the natural environment, how to develop the scientific temper and spirit of the inquiry, means without the question we shouldn't be accept anything, to safeguard public property and to give up violence, to strive means to try very hard to excellence in all this space, means all the areas of individuals and collective activities. Last one, 11th, the parents or the guardians should provide an opportunity for the education to their children to between 6 to 14 years. Okay. Now come to the directive principles of state policy. with the aim of the establishment of the welfare states. Okay, so certain directive principles of state policy have been be incorporated, means added to the constitution. These principles serve as the guidance to the state. Okay, here this one means fundamental directive principles of state policy we are going to inspired by the Irish constitution and we are included in our constitution. So please mark it. We borrowed the directive principles of state policy from the Irish constitution. Okay, now move to the next. And these are the principles in the form of the direction to the governments. Mean these are the direction to the government, either state government or central government or local government also. Okay, through this one the government intends to provide economic, social and political justice to its citizens, but these principles are based on the ethics. So governments like central, state do not implement them, they cannot be questioned in any court. Like fundamental rights, you can question them in a courts if they are not going to provide it, they are going to snatch by the anyone. But if suppose these directive principles of state policy, if they are not going to implement it, then nobody will going to question, because these are not the protected by the constitution. It is left to the governments. If they want, they can implement. If they don't want, there is no need to implement them. Okay, these principles are socialist and the liberal. Liberal means free, freedom means like free they are. Okay, and these are all the directive principles of state policy are based on the Gandhian ideals. Now come to the some important directive principles are there here. Directive principles of state policies: to provide the adequate means to livelihood for the all the citizens, to prevent the community wealth and resources from becoming the private property of the few people, to provide equal pay for the equal work to both men and women. Okay, then to provide the public assistance to those who are old, sick and weak or helpless. Okay, to implement the uniform civil code, it is very important throughout the country we are going to uniform means everybody should be have the same. Okay, to provide the opportunities for the development of the health and preschool education to all the children below 6 years. Okay, to protect the historic monuments and maintain places of historical interest, to separate the executive from the judiciary, to protect the international peace and to respect the international law, to encourage the settlement of the international disputes through the arbitration means by the words, by the compromise, to establish gram panchayatis, to encourage rural and cottage industries, to organize and develop agriculture and animal husbandry on modern lines, to ensure the provision of the liquor, to ensure the development of farming based on the scientific methods. Okay, now come to the directive principles of state policies are the important. They aim to achieve the social welfare. Already I mentioned that. While fundamental rights are related to an individuals, the directive principles of state policy are related to the whole community. Means fundamental rights are only related to the individuals, but these are related to the whole community. The central and the state governments are making attempts to implement all these principles. These principles aim at holistic development of the India. Okay, I hope my dear you enjoyed throughout this session, and I hope you understood the explanation and about the our constitution. You maybe understood that. Okay, so at the last, as and at the end of every video, I'm going to say, please like, subscribe, and if you have any doubt, any suggestion, then please comment. And thanks for watching this video, my dear. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.